So the other day, Killing Floor finally got a second update pack. This update pack brought to us 2 new maps, an old boss, and also the Gunslinger perk. I would have got this video out sooner, but I wanted to just focus on the game itself, and I also had work, so I didn't really get the chance to sit down and record some gameplay for you. But I will say this update is really good, and that's not just me being blinded because I'm a fan of Killing Floor. I actually really enjoy this update. Yeah, there's some bugs here and there, but that's part of early access. You've got to remember that. Early access is not the full game, it's the game being developed, so I'm not going to hit on it too much for that. Now, the 4 main things as I mentioned, I'm going to do in the order of maps, then the perk, then the boss. So with the intro out of the way, let's get started. The first map we're going to be looking at is Farmhouse. Originally when I saw this, I have immediately thought of the farm map from Killing Floor 1 and how big and empty it was, and I was kind of thinking, are they going to try that again? But they didn't. They actually brought a small little map which kind of reminds me of Blood Harvest from Left 4 Dead, and a lot of people have been saying that already. The issue being with this map so far, besides just some optimization issues which to be expected, is that with recording software open it crashes. You'll probably see what I mean on the gameplay in a second, but I couldn't get the full match because my game crashed halfway through. When I don't have my recording software open, the game runs fine, which I can understand because I guess they don't really focus on this kind of stuff because of it being in a beta. The map itself is really good. It's basically just a dark farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. You can travel inside the barn, in the house. It's a bit cramped at points, but the outside is quite open, so you can basically explore a tiny bit, but not as much as farm in the first game, but it's still fun nonetheless. Moving on to the second map, and this is probably my least favourite out of the 2, which is Black Forest. Now, don't get me wrong, the map looks great. It's a really nice looking map. It's got water, it's got trains somewhere in it. There's a house in the middle which can break. The walls can break in this one, which I'm actually quite surprised with because they never did that before. But the AI in this map is just horrendous. The nav mesh made for this map is not made properly, so you'll be waiting around for a couple of minutes when there's like 1 or 2 Zeds left going, I wonder where they are. When you go looking for them and they could have been spawning all over the place and you have no idea where they're going to be, so you're basically on a wild goose chase. Besides that, the map is actually really nice and it looks great. Something Tripwire has been able to do with Killing Floor 2 is make maps look really good and really detailed. I think from the original first version of the game, I think my favourite had to be Outpost because it was a snow map and it looked brilliant. In the second update, Evacuation Point looked amazing. Catacombs was really dark, which people complained about, but they both looked great and they always felt rewarding and pleasing to travel around, and they haven't failed at doing that again. And talking about lighting, something I've noticed which a lot of people seem to be upset about is that now lights are on every weapon. Originally people were upset about this because there's certain weapons they could use without actually being able to use lights, so I'm kind of confused to see why people don't like the new system now because you have lights anywhere. I personally don't like night vision. I just try to avoid it when I can, so when I'm playing Berserker or Commander I don't often use my lights. But it's nice to see on the other classes you can now use lights whenever, so I'm kind of hoping they take out the night vision at some point. But you're probably thinking, now Ben, what the fuck are you talking about Commander and Berserker? We wouldn't know about Gunslinger and all the new stuff and shit. Well, I can say this for a start, Gunslinger is amazing. The first revolvers are shit, but the rest of the guns are absolutely amazing. The first revolver just feels so weak until you get the skill at I believe level 10? I think it is. I can't remember for sure. It's one of the first 2 perks, but it gives you a bit more damage and then they feel a bit more rewarding. I remember the first time I played it, I was like, yeah, this is great. Akimbo revolvers, which look amazing, because some companies don't do that. And then I used them, I felt, oh, these feel a bit weak. But then you move on to the other weapons like the Colts and the Magnums. Oh god, the Magnums are so good. Basically, the Magnum revolver is the most expensive gun for the Gunslinger, but it's also the most powerful and feels the most satisfying. You have the little animations when you click reload when you already have a full clip or magazine or whatever you want to call it for a revolver. 5 in the chamber, whatever. But the point is, with Gunslinger, it's a really weak class. Like, you will take hits quicker, but you're quite fast and you're actually really good at shooting and popping heads off because you're more accurate, for example. The Gunslinger class itself feels really satisfying to use. It's really weak at first, so I would advise probably playing on normal for a little bit, then moving up onto hard, or not doing what most people are doing and everybody playing Gunslinger, because that's never going to work. It didn't work last time, it's not going to work this time, guys, because it is an absolute nightmare. I managed to pull it off for 1 wave and then we did fail anyway. But anyway, going back to the class itself, I'm still going through it at the moment. I've got to around level 15 or 16 and I'm still enjoying it. I have not played any other class properly since. Yes, they nerfed Berserker, but Berserker was quite overpowered. Now the Gunslinger is the overpowered one, which is going to get nerfed at some point. I think the Magnums kind of need a bit of a nerf because they're quite strong. You can take out a strike, I believe, with 1 magnum on hard or suicidal, and that's it. You could just use your entire like 5 bullets, and sometimes it will kill it if you aim for the head. It's ridiculously powerful. Besides that, the final thing we've got to talk about today is the one and only Patriarch.
I'm back, and I've got some new tricks.
The Patriarch is pretty much the same as Killing Floor 1. He just looks like a blob and doesn't have his amazing mustache. Now, there's a couple of differences between the first and second one. Yes, he still has 3 times to heal. Yes, you can still kill him before he heals, as I found out with Malicious Carrot and Peacemaker the other day. It's ridiculously easy if you can do that. But basically, he has a couple new attacks. His attack from his chest doesn't do the same as before. It'll actually grab you and pull it towards him. Then he goes to either attack you with a rocket or a minigun, you'll probably be dead. He can now bash you, so it sends you flying, kind of like a flesh pound, and also finally he has a mortar strike. I think that's what it's called. If I'm wrong, please correct me without being an idiot. But basically, if he tries to fire a rocket at you, he might sometimes fire it in the air, and it can actually guide. So it's really weird to explain, but I've run around a corner a couple of times and he's fired a rocket and it still hit me. Once it killed me, but the other times it's missed. But it's actually really great to see him back, because I was kind of hoping when Killing Floor 2 came out it would have been him first and then Hans, but Hans is a fun boss on his own. I wonder what the differences and similarities are though. This will be something to cover another time, because I don't want to take this for too long. I would definitely say there's a couple of bugs been introduced with the new update. There's not really much I can whinge about because it is an early access game. We've got to remember that. But basically, the game is still being updated, which is a good thing. And it's still fun. It's so much fun. I honestly don't care there's not a lot of content. I know a lot of people say to me, yo, how are you playing this so much? There's barely anything on it. Because it's fun. You're killing things with so many different ways, and there's so much gore and violence and just senseless, mindless crap. It's just a fun game to sit there, especially after coming back from work or something. I was like, you know what, I want to shoot stuff. Put on Killing Floor, we'll play it. Now, before I go, I feel like I'm missing something. Something that came out with this update, which a lot of people were upset about, but didn't really affect the game whatsoever. Well, I don't know what that was, but I'll tell you this, guys, I will see you next time.